War Eagle Auburn family, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live. We are on the road again from Auburn, Alabama, live here from the mobile broadcast studio, aka my car. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching live or on the replay. We appreciate you hanging out with us, spending some time to talk about what we love, about being part of the Auburn family. And obviously today's broadcast is going to be in relation to the Auburn Open Practice, which I just got done attending a little while ago, and the Fan Day as well. Lots of content and video already shared on social media about all of that. I hope you've gotten a chance to check all that out. If you haven't, we'll be sharing some more, probably some footage from the practice as well, all kind of clipped together for you all. So be looking for that if that interests you coming up in the very near future. So with that being said, that's our topic for today. That's what we're going to hit on for a few minutes there. What I'd love from you right now is to do our normal routine here, our check-in period. Post where you're watching from, whether that's live or on the replay, with a city, state, international, that type of situation. With a War Eagle, let me know who's here hanging out with me and spending some time talking about the Auburn Tigers and their football practice today. Got a lot of familiar faces popping in the chat. So the way this works usually when we do the broadcast ones, I'll try to keep up with your comments as much as possible. It's a little bit harder with the mobile broadcast studio. And there goes, which football player was that? I don't know. You just saw him go behind me right now. There's actually a lot of football players milling around coming back from the stadium where I'm parked towards the athletic dorms and offices and dining hall and all that kind of stuff. So we might see some. Jeffrey Whitaker, former Auburn football player, just walked by. Anyway, all right, so here's what we're going to do. I will try sometimes to bring your things up on screen. Other times I'll just kind of talk about them. We got Benjamin here. Good to see you. Kevin's here. Michael, Keith Lewis, Thomas. A lot of good familiar faces there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here live. Got a good crowd already assembling across all of the social media platforms. All right, well, let me just kind of start off by saying this. It is what it is. It's an open practice. You really can't take a lot of concrete information away from it, or Fan Day or things like that. I won't bore you guys with the Fan Day experience stuff because I know that you're not super excited about that. But what I will say is that it was basically the same thing as last year, with a little less, I think, this time. No Raptor Center, things like that, but went off without a hitch, went well. If you have a family, it's a good thing to take part in and then come to practice as well. This year with open practice, they did it a little bit differently. They were very focused on the getting down their pregame, not even just drills, but their entrance and stuff last year. None of that this year. Went straight into like practice and drills. You can think, obviously this is year 2 with Harsin. Everybody kind of knows what he wants and what he expects out of the players in terms of pregame type of routines. So that kind of went just into the normal drill setting. So we got to watch a lot of drills, a lot of individual drills, a lot of team drills in terms of, the different groups, linebackers, defensive linemen, offensive line. Last year, I spent a lot of time kind of on the sideline, closer to the corner where they come out of, or the closer to the tunnel where they come out of. This time I was actually right by the tunnel. Got a lot of great shots and footage that we'll be sharing about all of that. I know Darlene wants me to get straight into it. The big question. I'll get there in just a second. So I'll probably hit on some of those different things that stuck out to me from that in a little bit. If you'll notice, we did share a video of a couple plays with quarterbacks out there. I think we got one of Robbie at quarterback, one of TJ at quarterback, and one of Calzada at quarterback. If I remember correctly, Holden didn't really get any reps, if significant reps at all, to really make a difference. C. Hall checking in from Duluth. Who's your pick for quarterback? Whoever the coach picks. That's the cop-out, I know, but it really is what it is. I think the betting money is still TJ Finley. I think that's really who it is. Clint is here. He's from Auburn Uniform Database. He says hello to everybody. And he was there watching and taking pictures with me. We were having a lot of fun with that. So in terms of quarterback play and what I saw, TJ Finley seemed to come out with the ones the most, and the different drills, the different sets, because obviously they did little set plays, but then they actually moved the ball up and down the field from some situational things. TJ seemed to be with the ones a lot. I think Robbie got plenty of reps with the ones too. And then Zach, in terms of reps running a sequence of plays trying to get into the end zone, seemed to only happen until the end. So this is all speculation, and this is all just me taking in what I saw today on top of what we've all been seeing and what we've been hearing. I think TJ's your quarterback. I think it is imminent that that's going to be happening. I think Coach Harsin is probably giving both the other options at quarterback, and I'm not meaning to dismiss Holden, but I think he's really giving them as much of an opportunity as possible to win the job. But based on what I saw today, based off of what the context of everything else, I think TJ's your guy. Clint, yes, it was very hot. Thankfully, the clouds came out and helped us a little bit, but not all that much. Great question as well. How were the receivers? By the way, let me know if this sounds okay, because I've got my different setup that I normally use from the road. If it sounds okay, I want to know that for future broadcasts from the mobile broadcast studio. Wide receivers, a lot of drop passes. I mean, a lot of drop passes, a lot of good passes, catches too, but a lot of drop passes. Yeah, it was not. It was surprising how much that was still happening to me. It really was. Yes, we shared a video of Donovan Kaufman getting an interception. Now, what you're going to see of people talk about this, and I knew this when we posted this, is they're going to say that was a terrible throw by Finley, or terrible decision by Finley. It was a great play by Donovan Kaufman too. It's probably somewhere in the middle. It was a great burst off the throw of the ball by Donovan Kaufman to go and intercept that ball right there close to the end zone, in the red zone. And I think TJ probably could have put a little bit more on it, or he would have probably had to put a little bit more air on it. So I'm really, I'm not really reading too much into that, other than I think Donovan made a really good play with TJ. Probably could have done just a little bit better. Clint believes that Abby needs to be put in more by Coach Harsin. Apparently he was taking throws during practice as well and made more catches than some of the receivers. Listen, all I can go off of is one instance. Today's practice seemed to be a lot of drop balls, especially in situational play, which was a little bit surprising and a little bit disconcerting. I will tell you this, Shedrick Jackson was out there, and Malcolm Johnson, your two of your upperclassmen were out there as soon as practice was done. They were done with their group, wrap-ups, whatever they need to do. Some of them were running laps. The linemen were, which was interesting. I believe that Shed and Malcolm are really doing a great job of leading by example. They're out there throwing with each other and catching several balls after practice, not just tossing the ball lightly, like actually trying to make each other get crisp passes and catches after extra catches, extra reps to add on top of that. So that was very encouraging to see. Put Ike Hilliard in. I think Ike Hilliard's got his hands full just coaching right now. Let's see here. I'm sure at this point, the defense knows everything the offense is doing practice. Great point, Dusty. We were actually talking with Clint's father during the practice about this. And I think that's where we talk about a lot of times not overreacting to something you just see and talking about the context of it. This defense has been running against this offense for the entirety of camp. They know some of the tendencies, some of that. You would hope to see them making those plays. So again, I lean more on the side of Donovan Kaufman knowing kind of what's coming, but also making a great play on the ball. So I wouldn't be too much worried about that. After yesterday, I left Twitter. Life is much better. You will, sorry, Twitter folks watching over there, if you are watching, or slash Periscope, but yes, I would personally not be on Twitter if I didn't have to be. It is just what we have to do as a content provider. Do we look improved on either side of the trenches? I guess that's a great segue into talking about some of the positional groups. Offensive line drills were very vocal from the coaches. A lot of quit your moaning, and I'm paraphrasing. Nick Brahms was not dressed out. He was in shorts and shirts and walking. Well, I should say he was running in between with everybody else, but not dressed out. So that is a little disconcerting. I got a good look at Tate Johnson, seeing how he looks. A lot of people talk about his size. I would say he's probably on the smaller side, but I don't think he's that much smaller than Nick Brahms is, in my view. Oh, Nebraska got beat. Wow, that's disconcerting, isn't it not? We got a really good look at kickoff returns too. And Jarquez Hunter was in there. Donovan Kaufman was in there. Javaris Johnson, and punt returns as well. That was fun to get to watch. I think one of the bigger things that I take away from these open practices is really getting to see some of our athletes in action in punt and kickoff returns, because really that's dependent upon who scores and who doesn't score in the course of a game. So you really get to see a lot of that action and see what they work on there. Kind of going back to the question about the trenches, do we look improved? It's hard for me to really say without actually like being in the huddle there and hearing what they're talking about. The offensive line was running after the game, so take that for what you will. I do think I saw no reason to not be encouraged by the defensive linemen, the edge rushers, the defensive tackles, nose tackle, whatever position you want to put there. I think still that's going to be a very strong front. Yeah, Camden Brown I know he had a couple drop passes, which was surprising after all the hype, but everybody has a bad day, right? Looked better at kicker, McPherson or Carlson. They looked about the same to me. We watched them both early on. They were the first ones to come out there. Both very strong legs. Carlson's wearing a brace right now still, which I think more so is just a precaution than anything. So I wouldn't really read anything into that. McPherson's a very small guy, if you weren't aware. I wasn't aware how small he actually was, but he's a kicker, so it doesn't really matter, right? As long as he can kick the ball, and he can definitely do that. Let's see, what else? We talked about some individual drills, offensive, defensive line. It was really fun to watch some of the tackling drills that they were doing. I got some video footage of that we'll be putting up here later on for you guys. So that was interesting. Did Jeffrey Imba and Marquise Gilbert do good? I didn't really get a good look at Gilbert today. I wasn't really searching for him. Imba looks all bit of the beast that we think that he is. He was not wearing his visor today, which I think is for a vision thing, which I found interesting. But that's really all I have to say about that. Keep your comments and questions coming. We're not going to go super long here, but I do want to answer anything that you guys might have in mind in terms of like things that you want to know from that. Really didn't see anything concrete about what type of offense we're going to look like. TJ did seem to be a little bit more mobile, or focus on being more mobile. And I'm not just talking about running, like with the ball, making the decision to run, making the decision to kind of run/move up into the pocket and step up into the throw. He had a really good one to, who was it? Was it Micah Riley Ducker? It may have been him. It was a tight end, and I forget who it was. It was right over the middle. He got pressure from the sides. He kind of ran like he was going to go just on a QB scramble, and then step up, planted his feet, and then threw right across the middle, hit him square, and they had a nice catch and a gain after that. So that was very good to see. I didn't notice that hitch in his throw that he seemed to have. It's one practice, though. So, Benjamin, you're being weird. I can't sing for you. Tank did not get a lot of reps, and I think that's been the common theme throughout a lot of practice. I don't think they're trying to put many miles on him. You know what he can do. You know that he's very good with that. Offensive lineman that stood out. Brennan Coffey's a big man, tall. They all looked really good in terms of just physical stature and getting out there and moving around. From my vantage point where I was sitting, it did seem like there was still a lot more penetration than I'd like to see. But again, you're going against the defense that knows your stuff, knows what you're going to do. So you got to keep that in mind. Is there anyone you see that can step up and be for sure the Roger type? I guess cornerback one, Roger McCreary. Jalen Simpson had a pretty good few plays on the ball. I do remember that. There was a nice throw by TJ into the left corner, I believe it was, and Jalen got up there and got a hand on it and knocked it away. And he may have been the one that did it down the other end zone too. There was another, I think that was a Robbie throw. One thing I will say about Robbie, he dropped the ball a couple times in terms of like running with it, or at least one time. And he doesn't seem to have a lot of strength going across his body, to the left or that way. Yeah. Kind of underthrew and made it easier for the defense to make a play on the ball that way. So I would say, I think it's clear who the starter is going to be just based off all of that. I think it's more of a formality at this point. We should be getting ready for that. WT, good to see you. How was Holden? Didn't really see a lot of Holden. I saw him come out and warm up, but I didn't really see him take a lot of reps today. It's at least the meaningful moving down the field reps. It was TJ first, seemed to be with the first group. Robbie seemed to get a couple of first team reps / mixed reps, and then Zach kind of got some reps at the end. So I think that's kind of where we're at. Who all got interceptions today? I only remember one, but it's hard from where we were sitting. It was hard to see exactly what was and wasn't an interception. Michael, I think every player is going to have a package. It's just a matter of, does that package warrant being brought up during the game? You don't plan on not using players that you have at your disposal. You just got to have the right opportunity to do that. I wouldn't worry so much about that. I just worry on supporting the quarterback that gets named. Even if it's Robbie, then there you go. But I do think that Robbie, where he's at, his skill set can be utilized in some certain situations. And here's the great thing. He's a talented athlete. And even if he is second string, you should feel really good about where he's at in terms of what he can provide in terms of a change of pace if it's needed or if somebody gets hurt. Every time I see somebody come on a scooter by me, I think it's a player, but that one was not. Do I feel like we'll win if we play Mercer? Absolutely. That's not in question right now, at least right now. Of course, Georgia State wasn't in question. You saw how that went. All right. Questions or topics that I have not hit from practice that you would like to hear from me, go ahead and do those now. Let me go ahead and plug my stuff that I normally do. If you haven't, smash the like button. It does help these streams out. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe, notification bell so you don't miss anything. We've got a lot of stuff coming up, especially starting this week and the rest of football season. We've also got a live stream this Wednesday and Thursday, definitely, but maybe more. Check out links in the description for ways that you can help support our content, such as being a channel member or a Booster Club member. Those are all listed down there. WT, realistically, what are we looking at this year, winning season? I think realistically, you can say 8 wins. I think that's very realistic. But the question is, will that happen? It really depends on what happens this season. It is concerning that Nick Brahms is already hurt. I think that's already kind of a knock against you that you've already got some of those issues right. But yeah, I think that's very realistic. How did the progressions go from Finley? Is he quicker on decisions? I'm trying to think if I saw an instance where I could make a fair assessment of that. I would say, I don't have any concrete examples for you, but nothing sticks out to me that he hasn't improved. I saw more that impressed me with TJ today than I saw that was a discouragement. The one thing was the interception, which I think was a great, more so a great play by Donovan Kaufman, who's a great athlete. That's why he's on special teams. So that doesn't really answer your question, Michael, but I hope maybe that gives you some perspective on it. I gave you the example earlier of him stepping up into the pocket and making that solid throw after he got pressured. I think he kind of stayed within his progressions, even with that pressure, and made a really solid decision to, not run completely and make that throw over the middle to the tight end. Devin, yes, you're a little bit late. We'll be wrapping up here, not just the too distant future. Well, I'm hoping for some more practice questions, but you're asking some more high-level questions. I don't know. We'll see. I know that's a cop-out answer, but I really don't know. I mean, I think if he gets 7 wins, he should be fine, but I'm not the decision maker here. I will answer you this, as I said in the Alan Green live stream. Alan Green being here or not has no bearing on Harsin. That is just my opinion. but that has no bearing. Allen Green had used all his chips up on Harsin already, so it wouldn't have mattered either way. Are you going to do a video recapping the Friday night? I plan to. Just bear with me, trying to get back into the schedule of traveling and all that stuff so frequent. So I'm going to see how everything works out there. That is the plan. Just bear with me. Still trying to figure out that. Ooh, lots of questions here. Where are we at? LSU fan checking in. How do you guys feel about your season, normal guy? Let's see here. I would like to see him run when he needs to, and talk about TJ, and read faster than last year. He did run more today and made the decision to run, but also stop before he crossed the scrimmage line, obviously, and make some solid throws. So hope that helps you a little bit. I think we're still in what's called a multiple set based on what I saw out there. Yeah, I think that's mainly. Where did I get the hat at, Carrie? Some Auburn store. Really, really long time ago. All right, let me take a few more questions here. Benjamin, I guess you're referring to, I guess Demetrius did well today. I haven't followed the rest of the games because I've been at Auburn. But I'm guessing he did well today. If you're saying that loss doesn't look, I don't know what, I guess I shouldn't infer what you mean by that until I actually see what happens. So I'll just hold that for now. No, you're good. I just was, usually when we have a certain topic listed in the description, we try to stick to that. But that's fine. That's why I took those questions. How did the defensive front look, and how does the offensive line look? Kind of touched on that already. I did still see a little bit more penetration, but not, excessively bad stuff. They're not all the way live with the quarterbacks getting completely hit, so it's kind of hard to assess that, really. Davis plays tonight at 6. Okay. Well, then we'll know an assumption there. We'll know some more about that at that point. Yes, Alston had some, I wouldn't say the best run that I remember, he was going away from me, so it was really hard for me to tell outside of being in a different spot how good the run was, but he was running some first team 1 reps. Don't read anything more into that, but I did see that. So, all right. Guys, I think we have hit the majority of those topics. We had a great crowd. This is why I do these ones for you guys, because I really think, well, you seem to show me that you appreciate things like this, even on the moment, mobile broadcast studios type of stuff. I appreciate you being here. Stay tuned on the channel all throughout this week. We're back in football season, folks. More and more content. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button on the way out. I really, truly appreciate each and every one of you being here, hanging out with me, and spending time with me, being part of the little family, the E2C Network family within the Auburn family. Till I talk to you again, War Eagle.